light sources are sun, torch, tube lights, etc. Okay. Now consider that we have got a window. Okay, the window is with a wood shutter. Okay, that the window is having a shutter and the shutter is made of a wood. When the shutter is closed, what is going to happen? You will not be able to see anything outside. So when the wood shutter is closed, no light can come inside the room. Okay, now the question is, why is the light not able to come inside the room? It is because the light from the outside of the window obviously is not reaching us. Okay, now what is the wooden shutter doing here? The wooden shutter blocks the incoming light. Okay, and such type of objects like this wood shutter is called as opaque object. Okay, so the objects which are not, you know, uh, which are not involved into transmission of light, the light is not able to pass through them. Okay, they are absorbing the light, they are called as opaque objects. Okay, so here you can see the first definition as when it hits an opaque object, light is traveling through different mediums. So when the light hits an opaque object like the wooden shutter, which we have considered to be present in the window, some light is absorbed. Okay, like most of the light is absorbed by the opaque objects. Okay, now consider the wood shutter is having another layer inside the window, and this layer which is present inside the window, let us consider to be let us consider that layer to be made up of a glass plate. Okay, initially there was a wood shutter, now there's another object present there, and the window is having a glass plate on it. Through the glass plate we can see what is present outside, what is the scene outside the window, because this is a clear glass and glass allows light to pass through it. Okay, so as the glass is allowing the light to pass through it, we are able to see, okay, fine, outside the window there is a tree, beautiful tree standing outside the window, there is a beautiful house. Why are we able to see that? It is because the glass is allowing the light to pass through it. Okay, but then your parents want you to study, so what are they going to do? You should not see out of the window, they will close the wood shutter. Okay, now what is the wood shutter going to do? The wood shutter will not transmit light, will not let the pass, or will not let the light pass through it. And then what is going to happen? You will not be able to see what is there outside of it. Okay, so we have got two. We have seen opaque objects, the wood shutter. Then we have got a transparent material, which is the glass thing present in the window. So if the object is transparent, light rays pass through it easily. Okay, and when light rays are passing through it, we will be able to see the objects. The third category here of the object. Okay, see, we are studying about the light traveling through different medium. So first we have seen the material, light traveling through different materials. The first material we have seen, it is opaque object. Second material we have seen, it is transparent object. Third material which we are going to see now is called as translucent object. Okay, some of you might be having an idea about it. Okay, but we have a connection of these three into our session. That is the reason why we are discussing this. Now consider a milky glass. Okay, the glass is not that transparent, it is kind of milky. Now, when we consider a milky glass, through which we can see what is kept inside. Okay, if you have got a milky glass vessel, I can see what is kept inside of it, but I am not able to clearly see what is there inside of it. Okay, I can guess. Okay, fine, inside the milky glass there are some candies kept inside. Okay, so we cannot see clearly, but we do see something, right? Milky glass allows light to pass through it, but only partially, only half light is passed through it. So if the object is translucent, some light can pass through it, but the rest of the light will be reflected back. So we've got three categories of materials: opaque, transparent, and translucent. Can you give me some more? Okay, let us just discuss. I think some
Ma'am,
of the, yes.
ma'am, so is a thin cloth translucent?
Sorry, I did not get you.
Ma'am, is a cloth translucent?
Cloth, depending upon what type of cloth it is. If it is cotton cloth, it is going to be opaque because you'll not be able to see what is there on the other side of the cloth. Okay, like if you got a curtain is not made up of that thick cloth, you will be able to figure out, okay, fine, I can partly see that there is some tree outside the window. So some cloths are very thin and then they can be said to be translucent.
Okay,
Okay, rest of the cloth which are very thick in size, they're going to be called as opaque objects.
yes, ma'am.
Let us just consider some examples of opaque, like table, chair, fan, cupboard. Almost everything surrounding us is opaque object. Transparent, okay, it has got some interesting examples here. It is clear glass, water, okay, and plastic bags. Some plastic bags, they're very transparent. Translucent object, for example, butter paper, for example, tissue paper, okay, tissue paper not that thick, and plastic sheet. All these are the examples of translucent object. So here we have got a diagram in which we have got a boy,
And
and the
oily
boy
patch
is
paper.
oil, and
Oily patch paper.
oily patch paper is going to be translucent because you can partially see through it.
I've done
Now
that
here,
in fat test, na Srijan.
yes, that is translucent. It is not completely transparent. Okay, so let us just continue. So this boy is holding three category of material. The first one is here. If we see the cursor, the first one is opaque. The second one, you people might be able to guess it now. It is translucent. And the third one is very transparent. And the boy is really happy to see through it. Okay, so now we move on to before we move on, okay, let us just see. For example, there is power cut, okay, and there's a candle standing right in the middle of the table. Okay, you take your hand and you start to make something scary like dogs, and then you know make the sound like a dog, like butterflies you make with both of your hands, dinosaurs sometimes you make. So when the power is cut off and there's a candle standing right in the middle of the table, you make some scary faces, okay, and you try to scare other people. Fine. Okay, let us just consider it to be you've made a Mr. Deer or a Mr. Crow. Okay, let us just consider Mr. Crow. You can either consider butterfly as well. So the scary faces that you're making when the power is not there, and with the candle light, you make actually something called as shadows. Okay, the your hand is actually making shadow, and that shadow is looking as if there is something scary standing on the wall. We all know that light comes from light sources, okay, like sun. Consider sunlight coming from the sun. The sunlight is coming from the sun and then falls on a tree. There's a huge banyan tree standing 200 years old, standing on the ground, okay, and then sunlight falls on it. Sunlight is coming and falling on the tree. The path of the light is blocked by the tree because the tree is opaque. Opaque objects are going to not let the light pass through it. The light is blocked, and when the light is blocked, shadow is formed. Okay, so you are coming from school, walking, and you're very tired. You're really tired. You go and stand under the tree. Why do you stand under the tree? Because there are no light rays, because there is no sunlight there. Because the tree has the tree is not allowing the sunlight to pass through it. The tree leaves are opaque, and then a shadow will be formed, and then you will be, oh my god, oh, such a cool climate here, so I am going to stand in the shadow of the tree for like 5 minutes or so, so that I'll be relaxed, and then I continue going ahead. Okay, so what is a shadow? Shadow is nothing but okay. So what is a shadow? Shadow is nothing but the light that cannot pass through an object. Okay. Some will form shadows like, okay, some objects are going to form shadows like, let us just see. Some people are going to form shadows, and some objects are not going to form shadows. Shadows will be formed with that, with like you will form a shadow. If you are standing in front of a light source, you are opaque. Okay, obviously you're opaque, you're not transparent. If you would have been transparent, then all your intestine and stomach and heart and everything would have been visible. Okay, but that, thank God, that is not the case. So we are opaque objects. We stand in front of the light source and you form a shadow. I stand in front of a light source, I form a shadow. Tree standing in the sunlight, tree forms a shadow. Okay, but there are some objects, there are some material which are not going to form shadow at all. Example, air. Air is transparent. Transparent objects will not form a shadow. So air is not going to form shadow. So let us see what is given into our slide here, into our screen here. How our shadow form? We are already seen that sometimes object can block light. Okay, so we are here. Sometimes objects can block light, which means that no light is able to pass through that object. Okay, we have already seen that if the object is not letting the light pass through it, they are called as dash object, opaque object. Whenever light is not able to go through an object, it creates a dark area around the object. Okay, see, light is coming from behind this girl. Okay, light is coming from behind this girl. This girl is not letting the light pass through her body because she's opaque, and we know that light travels in a straight line. So light is going to travel. Where is the cursor? Okay, yes, it is here. So light is coming, and then this girl is not letting the light pass through her. The light travels only in the straight line, so light cannot come here and then bend around this girl and then pass through her. That is not going to be the case because light travels in a straight line. As light travels in the straight line, whenever light is not able to go through an object, it creates a dark area around the object, and this patch where the light cannot reach is called as shadow. Okay, so this is what I just said. Light is coming, light cannot bend around this girl and then can travel through her. Okay, that is not the case. So the patch, this patch where the light cannot reach is called as shadow, and obviously opaque objects generate or create very clear dark shadows. Okay, so this is something very interesting. The Mr. Crow that we were forming with our hands. Okay, the Mr. Crow, the Mr. Deer, the dinosaur, or something very scary that to scare your younger siblings or something like that. The Mr. Crow that you formed on the wall, okay, or the dinosaur to scare other people can change in size. You might have done that. Okay, so that can change in size. When the Mr. Crow was small, your younger sibling was not scared of it. Okay, but as the size started to grow, the younger sibling, your younger brother, younger sister will think, oh my god, the crow is coming on me and the crow is now going to cause damage to me. Okay, the crow is now going to eat up me. Right? How can you do that? By changing the position of the light source or by changing the position of your hand. Okay, now let us see what we can do here. When the light source is far away from your hand, then Mr. Crow is very small. Okay, so the candle is very far away from your hand, the Mr. Crow is very small. You want Mr. Crow to grow in size, then what are you going to do? When you bring the light source closer to your hand, so not very close, okay, otherwise what is going to happen? Your hand will burn. Okay, so you have to be very cautious, otherwise you will say, ma'am has told me to form a Mr. Crow very big in size, I am going to bring the candle near to my hand. No, that's not happening. Okay, because you have to be very cautious, because you people are kids, okay, young kids, so you should not be doing that. The light source should be, okay, brought near to your hand. Okay, and then what happens is Mr. Crow grows in size, the shadow size increases. Okay, we are going to again see what is there on the screen. When you put the light source just above the object, okay, so the light source is, for example, you're considering a torch. Okay, just we're not concerned about candle, consider a torch. The torch, the light source, you've just placed above your hand. Now what you get is the shortest shadow. Okay, the shortest shadow. Therefore, we say the size of the shadow depends upon the light source and the position of the object. Okay, so now we are going to see here there's a person standing here. There's a person standing here. Okay, okay, okay. So when the light source is okay away from the object, the size of the shadow is going to be produced. The closer the object is to the point light source. What do you mean by point light source? This torch. Okay, this torch is the light source. The closer the object to the light source, what is going to happen? The bigger the shadow of the object will be formed. So this is the light source, this is the object, this is the boy standing, and now see the size of the shadow is very, very big. Okay, it's quite big. The size of the shadow produced will be proportionately larger than the size of the object as seen in the first image. Okay, given here. So this is, the distance is very less, the shadow is very big. Okay, now in the third case, the distance is very, very large. The distance is large enough, so the size of the shadow is very less. In the third case, the boy is standing very, very far away. Okay, the boy is not liking the light sources. He is running away from light source, and when he runs away from the light source to catch his shadow, okay, the boy was standing here. He saw such a big, huge shadow. The boy ran behind the shadow. Okay, let me just see where my cursor is. I'm not able to see it. Okay, just no problem. So the boy was running behind to catch his shadow. As he was running behind the shadow, the boy got to understand, oh my god, why is the size of the shadow decreasing? Okay, so for us to understand why was the size of the shadow decreasing, we have just understood now that as you change the distance between the light source and the object, the shadow size is going to vary. Okay, this is very clear now. The size of the shadow based on the diagram. Now you might have seen younger kids, they want to catch the shadow. Okay, but they're not never able to catch the shadow. Why are they never able to catch the shadow? Because a shadow is not real, it is just a projection.
Because till they see that the shadow is gone.
And the shadow is gone. That's great, amazing answer, keep it up. Yeah. Okay, now we move on to something very interesting called as umbra and penumbra, regions in shadow. Okay, some people might have heard it from some teachers, from Farida ma'am, saying umbra and penumbra. The okay, so we have got a torch. This is our light source, and there's a ball standing. There's a ball we have kept here. Okay, we have just switched on the torch. When the torch is switched on, as the ball is opaque, okay, as the ball is opaque, because if the ball would have been transparent, then the shadow will not be formed. So as the ball is opaque, okay, then the torch, the light rays are traveling, the ball is opaque, the light ray will be absorbed, the light will be absorbed, the light will not be able to pass. As the light is not able to pass, okay, so what is going to happen? A dark area, which is the shadow. Okay, this entire thing is the shadow. Okay, this entire thing is the shadow. Where I have put the cursor, entire thing is the shadow. But there are parts of the shadow. Okay, one is a very dark, one part of the shadow is very, very dark. That is called as umbra region. Okay, you might have seen a candle. Okay, the candle is there and the candle is burning, and the center area is very dark, and the outside area is not that dark, it is kind of light. So the dark region is called as the umbra, and the lighter portion of the shadow is called as penumbra. I think the cursor is not in a mood to come on the screen today. It's just disappearing again and again. Okay, so the dark part of the shadow is the umbra region, and the part that is little lighter is called as the penumbra. This one is little lighter, and this is the dark portion. The umbra, Latin for shadow, is the innermost and the darkest part of the shadow, where the light source is completely blocked. by the body. Okay, what do you mean by occluding body? That is the opaque body, which is not letting the light pass through it. And as light passes only in a straight line, the light will not bend over the ball and then pass. Okay, if that would have been the case, shadows never would have been there. Okay, thank God that is not the case. So we get shadow, of the tree to enjoy sitting under the tree. The penumbra, from the Latin pen, almost nearly. Okay, what do you mean by almost or nearly? That means nearer to the umbra region is the portion in which only a portion of the light source is obscured by the occluding body. That means stopped by the opaque body, okay, or the opaque object. Okay, so we have seen that
Ma'am,
when a
just a
point
second.
source,
If
yes,
I take like butter paper, ma'am,
butter.
if I take butter paper and put it in front of the light source, then all of it will
Okay.
be penumbra, right? Because some light will still be passing through.
Yes, very good. Yes, that is an amazing answer.
Ma'am,
Very
so
good.
ma'am, annual eclipse.
Sorry,
Ma'am, annual eclipse.
we are moving on to eclipse. First, we'll move to eclipse, then to annular eclipse. Okay, so just moving on to that. You people are just kind of predicting what is going to be there ahead. Okay, has someone seen the presentation already? Because the next thing here is eclipse. Okay, your predictions are all very strong. So what is an eclipse here? Now let us talk about it. There are types of shadows created by the celestial bodies. Okay, what are the celestial bodies here? The sun, the moon, the earth. Okay, these, see, earth and everything, these celestial bodies, they are creating shadows, and there are different types of shadows created by these celestial bodies, and eclipses occur. Actually, if we talk about it, we can consider the bodies to be playing hide and seek. Okay, someone is, one body is going and hiding behind the other is going and hiding behind. Now it's my turn to hide behind you. So the hide and seek match is going on. The hide and seek, they're playing hide and seek. Who all are playing hide and seek? The sun, the moon, and the earth, all the three friends, they're playing hide and seek. Okay, sometimes the earth is not there, sometimes the moon is hiding, sometimes the sun is not seen. So one is an eclipse of the moon, okay, where the moon is involved, and the other is the eclipse of the sun. So we have got two types of eclipses. So you have to just remember what is an eclipse: casting
Ma'am, the
shadows.
problem is the one who seeks count for 1,000 years. That's
Uh-oh.
why. Uh, that's why it takes so long for one eclipse to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. True. So let us just first see. So an eclipse, what is an eclipse? Takes place when a planet or moon passes between another planet, moon, or the sun. Okay, so they're coming in between one another, because of which eclipse are going to be formed. So there are two kind of eclipses. The first one is going to be called as the solar eclipse. So why are we talking about first solar eclipse? Because the sun is big, right? Okay, the sun is very big and the sun is stronger than the moon. That is the reason why we're talking about solar eclipse. And one more reason: the sun has its own light, the moon will not have its own light. So we will consider lunar eclipse a bit later on. Okay, the stronger the better the first. Sometimes it becomes dark in the day. Okay, there was a person sitting in bright sunlight, and then suddenly what happened? The sun was all gone. Okay, the person who was sitting in the daylight got scared. Oh my god, now what is happening, and why is it happening? He thought that, you know probably a monster is there, and the monster is eating up the sun. Okay, a monster is there. He thought a monster is there, and the monster has eaten up the sun. That is the reason why the sun is gone and there is no light, and I'm so scared. What if the monster comes and eats me? Okay, the person was unaware, the man was unaware of something called a solar eclipse, which you people are already aware of. So solar eclipse is not a monster coming and eating the sun. because of which the sun is not visible. It is not the case. We're actually going to see what is happening here. Initially, when people did not know, they thought that the monster is there eating up the sun. Okay, and after some time the sun reappears. Okay, so they used to say the sun has killed the monster. Okay, and we're going to, the sun is the god, the monster is now killed and the sun is back, we are going to worship the, we're going to worship the sun. Okay, fine. So that was the case initially. Okay, now let us just move on to the actual thing here. Sometimes when the moon orbits the earth. Okay, so when is the solar eclipse happening? When the moon comes in between the earth and the sun. Okay, so let us just take the help of the cursor. We have got the sun here. Okay, and the earth here. Who's coming in between them? The small moon is coming in between the sun and the earth. Okay, so when the moon comes in between the earth and the sun, causing a shadow of the moon. Okay, you can see here the moon is there, the light source is coming from the sun, the moon is casting a shadow on the earth. Okay, a shadow is cast on the earth of the moon to fall on certain portion of the earth. Okay, because the moon here is teeny tiny, it's very very small. Okay, smaller than all the three friends. Okay, so this moon is very tiny, and the moon which is here is able to cast only a small shadow on the earth, because earth is huge. Okay, the elephant and the ant, the moon is the ant here and the earth is the elephant. Okay, so earth is not completely hiding behind the moon, because moon is very very small. Okay, so from the shadow is present only on some position of the earth. Okay, see, you can see here only some part of the earth is covered, and from these positions only it appears that the sun has gone dark. So the man who was sitting there, who thought that oh, sun is being eaten by the monster, was sitting in which region of the earth? Okay, he was sitting in the region where the shadow was casted. Okay, he called up his friend saying that, oh my god, the sun is eaten up by by some monster and the sun is all gone. Okay, he was talking on phone with his friend, and the friend said, no no no, I can see the sun here. Why this is not true? Okay, why was his friend saying that? Because the friend was present on the part of the earth where the shadow was not there. Okay, the friend was here and the man was here. Okay, so not the entire earth is covered. Since the moon is very very small in front of the sun, it only blocks just a part of it. Solar eclipse cannot be seen from every part of the earth, but only from locations where the shadow of the moon falls, and then we feel scared. Okay, some people used to think, okay fine, so that is, we have already discussed that. Sometimes when the moon orbits earth, it lines up directly between the sun and the earth. Okay, so the sun is there, all the three friends, they are in one line. Okay, all the three friends are in one line, the sun, the moon and the earth. When this happens, when this is happening, all of them are in discipline, all of them are standing in one line. The moon blocks the light of the sun. This causes an eclipse of the sun or a solar eclipse. During a solar eclipse, the moon casts shadow on the earth. A solar eclipse happens during the daytime, obviously, right? Because the sun is out only during the day. The daylight grows dim. Okay, the daylight was growing dim and suddenly it was all dark. Sometimes the moon blocks almost all the sunlight. Then the daytime can look as dark as night during a solar eclipse. So it will appear to you as if it's very dark, night is there. Solar eclipse happens once every 18 months. Solar eclipses only last for some few minutes. Okay, so the expected solar eclipse by this website called as Space, they have predicted that in 2020 June 21 solar eclipse can be seen not from all parts of the world, but from Africa, Southeast Europe, Asia, and some part of Australia. Okay, And one more thing, you have to be very cautious when you're looking at the solar eclipse. You're never supposed to look at the solar eclipse directly. It will cause harm to your eyes. So this is something you have to be very cautious about. Okay, solar eclipse, you should never look. This is what we were seeing. Okay, so here the eclipse is being seen. Okay, beautiful. As you can see, the moon is there in the middle, and the sun, the part is the moon is trying to cast a shadow on the earth, and we will see it one more time because okay. Okay, beautiful, right? You should never look directly at the sun, not even during an eclipse. When the moon blocks the sunlight, a solar eclipse is exciting, but that doesn't mean you will run out and just want to see the solar eclipse. You can use for that something called as proper eye projector should be used, like box projector, binoculars, telescopes, or even pieces of cards.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Ma'am, so according to that space, so ma'am, you said that on June 21st, the eclipse can be
2020.
seen in Asia. So you mean whole Asia or just
Some
a part
parts.
of Asia?
A part of Asia. Some part of
Okay.
Asia. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Now we have lunar eclipse, the moon thing. See, let us see what is happening. Let us study about the lunar eclipse. It is again very exciting. A lunar eclipse happens when the earth moves between the sun and the moon. Okay, so the sun is there. Where is the sun? Actually, in the diagram, the sun is not seen. The sun is present here. Okay, where the cursor is, the sun is here. You can see the sunlight falling on earth. Okay, so the sun is present on the left hand side, the moon is present on the right hand side, and in between them now it is the chance of the earth. Okay, so the earth was crying, I am not, why you people don't keep me in the middle, I want to be in the middle. Okay, so the sun and the moon agreed to keep the earth in the middle, but when the earth came in the middle, the moon was not at all seen by the sun. So let us study about this one. Happens, when is it happening? When the moon comes, when the earth comes between the sun and the moon, blocking the sunlight from reaching the moon. Okay, so the moon, the sun is here, the sunlight is falling on the earth is big enough to hide behind it the moon. Okay, once in a while earth lines up directly between the sun and the moon. When this happens, earth blocks the light from the sun to the moon. Earth's shadow then falls on the moon. This is an eclipse of the moon. Okay, so this is the eclipse of the moon. The moon is hiding now. And when that happens, okay, some noises, it is called as a lunar eclipse. During a lunar eclipse, we can see Earth's shadow on the moon. When Earth completely blocks the sunlight, okay, so the Earth is standing there right in the middle. Okay, all of them are lined up, disciplined, obedient, all of them are lined up. Then what happens? When Earth completely blocks the sunlight, the moon looks red or orange. Okay, so it appears as if the moon is going all red. It is also called as blood moon. Okay, blood red moon. Okay, it's also called as see here. So red color is seen. A lunar eclipse can last for few hours. Okay, and the lunar eclipse is supposed to happen every year. Okay, let us just, so you can see in the middle, the moon is there and it is kind of appearing red in color. So we have got the image here. See, the moon is there. Okay, it is going all red. Now when the moon is here, the earth is there in the center. Okay, and when the moon is getting completely covered by the earth, it is going red. Okay, and then again white, and then again red. It is believed that lunar eclipse taught people the earth is round because of the shadow that was falling. The people got to know that the earth is round because some people even today they believe that the earth is flat. Okay, some scientists even today they believe that the earth is flat. If the earth is flat, then we would have seen a shadow in a line, but we see a curved shadow. Okay, because of which we can say that earth is not flat, it is spherical. So this is, let us see the diagram one more time and then we will proceed.
Ma'am, Earth is geoid shape.
Earth is,
Geoid shape.
okay, so that is the proper word, I guess. Thank you. So we have got the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, and in Umbra we see a total eclipse. Okay, so let us just see. We've got one more beautiful diagram here. So when it is entering into the Umbra region, it's a total eclipse and the earth appears to be red in color. And when it is out of the Umbra region into the penumbra region, it again appears to be white. We'll see the diagram one more time. So it is now in the penumbra region, it is all white. Here it is now entering into the umbra region, the darker portion of the shadow, and when that happens, it appears to be red in color, and then again trying to move out of the umbra region into the penumbra region, and again white. Okay, so white in penumbra, red in umbra, again white in penumbra. Okay. So any questions, anyone?
Ma'am, why does the moon become red?
Why does the moon become red? It has got an answer here. Okay. We have got the answer here. Why the moon is becoming red? It is because the rays of the sun, they are made up of 7 different colors. That is red, orange, blue, yellow, green, violet, and indigo. Okay, so these are all the colors of the sun, which is present in it. When the sun rays hit the atmosphere of the earth. Okay, so the sun rays are coming and then hitting the atmosphere of the earth. Most of the color gets scattered, and only the red color remains. Only the red color is remaining. Rest of all the colors are getting scattered. And we can see the red or the blood moon or a total lunar eclipse.
Ma'am,
Okay.
ma'am, why does a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse happen very rarely? Like a lunar eclipse in 1 year, solar eclipse about 18 months.
It is because of the speed with which they are traveling. Okay. If the speed, see, there's a particular speed with which the sun and the moon and the we're revolving around the sun. Okay. So the speed of revolution, it depends upon that.
Ma'am, and the Earth and the Moon's orbit is also tilted, so that also.
Exactly. That
okay.
also is involved into it. Yes. Correct.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. So we've answered why does the moon become red, and we're just trying to go through the chat.
Okay, just one more addition to it that, as ma'am said, that all the three of them get lined up. So the Earth is slightly tilted uh, on its axis. That particular axis coming together in a particular line happens, like ma'am said, every 18 months for the sun, for the solar eclipse, and once in a year, that is 12 months for the lunar eclipse. So that alignment is very important for the eclipse to happen. Otherwise, the moon is rotating around the earth completely throughout the year. We don't see it throughout the year. In all the 11 months, we only see it in one of the month, is because of the alignment. That is very important.
Okay, and the video is blur. These appear to be distorted. Okay, we've answered Sanika's question. Same question, Bhuvi. Janvi, is it lunar eclipse? Moon. Yes, it is. No, understand Penumbra. Your ma'am, I want to see the lunar eclipse slide once again. Okay, we'll show you the slide once again, Smita. And the lunar eclipse's moon is also there. Yes, it is called as Janvi. Uh, Beast Rule, I don't know what your name is, but I don't think, ma'am. Some people say that lunar eclipse bad luck may happen. I don't think so. I don't think that is true, ma'am. I want
I
to
think we are
see.
studying science and we should keep our faith away for right now. Faith can remain in its own place and we can keep our science in our own place. So let's not mix science and faith here.
Exactly, very true, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to see the lunar eclipse side. Ma'am, why should we not see the solar eclipse? Okay, Smita wants to see the lunar eclipse slide once again, so we will just do that. I think this is the slide that you wanted to see.
Ma'am, she's telling no.
No, she's telling no. This, I guess. Probably this one. Okay, one more time and then we move ahead. Okay, so where is it? Okay, I think we've answered all the questions and we should proceed with the next topic that is called as refraction. So we will continue with that. So this is something which says that light passes through different transparent materials. So the transparent material can be of different types. It can be water, it can be glass, transparent material, it can be diamond. All the things which I mentioned here are all transparent. Okay, so but they are not having the same density. They're not the they're not having the same density. Okay, water is different, glass is different, and diamond is different. Okay, obviously. But before we discuss about all these three, when there is no medium at all, okay, there is light is just traveling in vacuum. There is no air, there is nothing present, there is no air, solid or any liquid present, and then light is traveling through vacuum. The vacuum, the speed of the light traveling is very very fast. Okay, we've seen this in our initial sessions as well. The distance traveled in 1 second in vacuum is, like you can see here, 1,86,000 miles, which is like super amazing. In 1 second, it is like unbelievable. Sometimes I cannot even believe that in 1 second light can travel this fast in vacuum. Okay, but when you have got substances like water, the the speed of the light is kind of decreased to 1,040 1,40,000 miles. In glass, again decreasing to 1,24,000 miles. And in diamond, because it is solid, okay, water is what it was liquid, so the speed was kind of fast. And the diamond, which is solid, again the speed of the light is decreased to 77,500 miles. So here again you can see in the diagram, air, some particular speed of light, here it is given in kilometers per second. Ice, ice is given as 2,29,000 kilometers per second. Here it is in kilometers, here it was in miles. Liquid water, 2,26,000. Vegetable oil, 2,04,000 kilometers per second. Glass, ruby, and ruby is a stone, And diamond, again, if you see diamond in miles, it is 77,500 miles, and in kilometers it is 1,24,000 kilometers per second. What is the point of discussing this? It is light travels through different transparent medium with a different speed. Okay, now you are there. Okay, there's a swimming pool and you're walking in the swimming pool. Okay, the swimming pool is empty. Your speed of traveling in the empty swimming pool is going to be fast. You can run and can dance and can do anything. Now the swimming pool is starting to, water getting inside the swimming pool. The movement, the speed is going to be decreased. Now you cannot dance that freely because there's water. Okay, now water is removed and honey is poured inside the swimming pool. Again, it is going to be very difficult for us to move in that because honey is different from water. Okay, and then what, the honey is also removed, and then in it we are just adding stones. Okay, so that is the unbelievable only. We cannot move at all in that. Okay, as light is traveling differently with a different speed in different medium, we come to a topic called as refraction. Okay, so refraction is another topic, and when is this going to happen? Okay, so what is refraction of light? Change in direction of light when it passes from one medium to another. Okay, so you can see here in water the way the light is traveling is different. Vacuum, the way the light is traveling is different. Glass, the way the light is traveling is different. Okay, and diamond, again, it is different. Okay, as we discussed the example of swimming pool. So what is refraction of light? Change in direction of light. Okay, see here, the direction will be changed. Change in direction of light when it passes from one medium to another. Okay, so when it is passing from one medium to another, okay, you can see here in this diagram, the second one here. One medium, when it is entering into another medium, the path is changed. Okay, initially the path is this one. This is the initial path, but when it is traveling to another medium, the path is changed. Okay, so here, but you need compulsorily two medium. Okay, two mediums you need. The one medium which is here in this case is air, and the second medium is water here. Okay, so when the light rays comes from one medium and it travels into another medium, the direction of the light is changing. Okay, light rays usually travel in straight line. We are all very aware of that. But when they pass from one transparent medium to another, they can be forced to bend. They're not traveling again in the straight line. They're bending at a certain angle. You can see a certain angle here formed. Okay, we'll see how the angle is formed again. So this is going, and then the path is changed. And when we see the angle is different here in the case. Okay. Okay. So this bending of light is called as refraction, and the fish which is there is actually happy that something called as refraction is there. Okay, so here we see in the diagram, the light ray travel in a straight line. There is no doubt about it, and we have repeated that like 1,000 times. So light rays travel in a straight line towards the glass block. Okay, so one medium here is the air, another medium here is the glass. Okay, so this is a block of glass. Light travels in a straight line from the air, one medium. When it enters into another medium, okay, the speed is going to change, the direction is going to change. Okay, the direction of the light changes, rays change direction outward as they leave the block. Okay, so when they're entering into the block, the direction is changed, and when again they're leaving the block, the direction is again changed. This is called as refraction of light. Refraction is just what? Bending. Okay, bending of light. As I gave you example in our first session, you were walking on a road and there came an elephant in between. Okay, you're not going to kick that elephant and move on the same road. No, that is not happening at all. You are going to change your direction. You're going to bend away somewhere else. Okay, take some another path, but not mess up with the elephant. Okay, so light comes and changes the direction because the medium is different, and then when again the light is going out of the glass block, again the direction is changed. It happens because light travels at different speed in different transparent material. Air speed is different. Glass block sorry, glass block, the speed is different. Okay, again the speed is different. Diamond, the speed is different. If light rays travel through air and enter into a more dense material, more dense, more packed material. Okay, which one is more packed? Solids are more packed than liquids, than air. Air is the least packed. So when it is entering into more packed material, okay, so here we have got more packed material, they slow down. Okay, as you were when you were in the swimming pool with the honey part, okay, or with the stones. Okay, let us just consider stones because stones are solid. Your movement was slowed down because there was a lot many stones packed inside the swimming pool. So if the light ray travels through air and enter into a more dense material such as water or a glass block, as in the diagram, they slow down and bend into a more dense material. So they're bending here. Light rays moving into a less dense material. Okay, now the stones are removed and water is poured inside the swimming pool. What is going to happen to your speed? You're going to speed up. Okay, you're going to speed up, and then a match can be held, and then there's a winner, and everything happens. So light rays moving into a less dense material, such as from water to air, okay, or from water to glass block, from glass block to water, actually speed up and bends outside. So when it is traveling from glass to air again back, so glass is more dense, air is less dense, it is going to again speed up and bend in a different direction. Okay, water and refraction. What do we need here? We need two medium here. Okay, one medium here is the air, another medium is the water part. When light travels from air into water, it slows down, causing it to change direction slightly because water is more dense than air. When the pool was empty, there was nothing in the pool, it was just air. Your speed was very fast. Water was poured, speed decreased. This change of direction is called as refraction. When light enters a more dense material, it bends more towards the normal line. Okay, the broken pencil here. Okay, now we have the invisible coin a bit later on. So when the light rays coming from the tip of the pencil, so this is the pencil. When the light rays are coming from the tip of the pencil, from water to air, the light is going to come from the tip of the pencil to from air to water. Its direction gets changed. The light gets refracted. The bending of the light is called as refraction. So the light is going to come here. This is the particular portion. This is the particular way the light is entering, and the light is getting bent. Okay, it is changing its direction. That light is called as refracted light. Okay, when these refracted light reaches our eyes, okay, so the light got refracted and it is reaching our eyes, then our eyes trace them backwards as straight line. So the light which is there initially is actually bent, but when your eyes are viewing those rays, your brain assumes that the light is not bent, the light is straight. Your brain, you are assuming, you are thinking that the light is not bent because this is how your brain works. The light is not bent. You are thinking the light is straight, but actually the light is bent. So what happens is you see as if the pencil is bent into the water. Okay, so this is how refraction works, and this appears to be broken, the invisible coin. Okay, so this is something very interesting. I don't know whether you have done this experiment or not. Okay, for doing this experiment, what you need is a coin, a bowl, and little water. Okay, you need water. So see here, what is happening? The light is coming and bend. The light is bending. So you need three things. One is the coin, a bowl, and water. Invisible coin is actually a scientific illusion. It is not actually happening. It's an illusion thing happening. Actually, refraction is happening here. You have to take a coin and put it in the bowl. Okay. When you move away from the coin, when you're moving away from the coin, you have to move away from the coin till you're not able to see the coin. Okay, you have taken a bowl, in that you've put a coin and moving away from the bowl so that you're not able to see the coin. Okay, you have to stand there at that position and start pouring water into the bowl. Once you start pouring water into the bowl, what happens is initially you moved so far away that the coin was not visible, but when you start to pour in water, it will appear as if it will appear as if, I don't know why is this happening this way, but kind of blurry. I don't know, I think something is going wrong here. It is appearing to be hazy. Okay.
Sana, what I will do is, like, once we go to the question slide after this explanation, I will share my screen and I'll show them this picture, so you can do your explanation part that way.
Okay, perfect. So this is what experiment we're discussing. I'm sorry. The experiment that we were discussing, I'll just repeat it fast once again. You need three things: a bowl, a coin, and little water. You keep the bowl on the table, put the coin inside of it, and try to move so far away that the coin is not visible. Okay. Once you move to that position, you have to stick to that position. You have to stay there, and you can ask someone to add water into it, or if you're not that far away from the bowl, you yourself can add water into it. If you start adding water, and then what happens is you will see initially the coin was not visible, but as you were adding water, there the coin became visible because there was bending of light happening into it. And I think ma'am is going to show you this again. Okay, so real and apparent depth. Real depth means where actually the object is there, where the actual object is placed. Okay, but when refraction happens, we see it little bit upwards. Okay, we see it to be little bit upwards. So initially the coin was here. Okay, and when light was passing, when light got refracted, the coin was appearing as if it is lifted upwards, and as it was lifted upwards because of refraction happening, bending of light happening, that was the reason that you were able to see the coin. Okay, so real depth is actual distance of an object beneath the surface. So this is the actual distance here. This is the actual apparent. This is the actual depth. Okay, where the object is actually placed. So would be measured by submerging a perfect ruler along with it. So when you immerse a ruler into it, when you put a ruler into the water and then you measure the depth, it is called as actual depth. Okay, where the object is there and you put a ruler inside of the water, and then you are measuring the position, where is it exactly, and then you measure the depth. That is called as the actual depth. Okay, and apparent depth is the object, because of refraction, appears to be a bit raised up. So apparent depth in the medium is the depth of an object in a denser medium. Which is the denser medium? Here the water is there. Because the water, the refraction was happening as seen from the rarer medium. So this boy is viewing the block, and the block appears to be raised up little bit because of refraction happening. So from here when you measure, this is not the actual position of the object. It appears as if the object is there, okay, because of refraction. So when you measure it from here onwards, it is called as apparent depth. Okay, so apparent depth, its value is smaller than the real depth. Yes, of course the value is smaller than the real depth because it is kind of raised up. Okay, again if you see the pencil, this is the actual depth. Okay, here the position is actual position of the pencil is here, but the pencil appears to be broken, and from when you measure the distance from here, it is called as the apparent depth. Okay, so this is, I think we almost so fish in water, the fish is present there. The broken pencil phenomena occurs during your everyday spearfishing outing. Fortunately for the fish, the light refracts as it travels from the fish in the water to the eyes of the hunter. Now here, let us just use this diagram and see. This is the fish which is present, okay, the actual position. But this boy will see as if the fish is present here. But the fish is here. Okay, the fish is here. It appears as if the fish is here because of bending of light. Okay, this is the straight path of light. This is the actual position. Now the light is bent, and the boy will be able to see this is the fish here. Okay, when he will throw something, okay, like a net to catch the fish or to hunt the fish will not come to him. The fish will go anywhere else because that is not the actual position. He will throw the something to kill the fish in this direction, but that is not the actual position. So the fish will be saved, and the fish is very happy that the refraction is happening. Okay, we will again see this. Okay, the actual position of the fish is here. Bending of light shows as if the fish is here. Okay, so this is what is happening, and the fish in water appears to be not to the actual position, but little bit at a different position of the actual fish is present. Okay, now we'll go the mirage. Okay, so this is I think the last topic, and then we will be ending our session. Mirage, everyone knows. Mostly more people know what mirage is. It's an illusion in which it appears as if water is present on the surface of ground. There's a desert, okay, there is no water present, but it appears as if the water is present. It happens because on a hot day, okay, it's a desert area. It is the desert area, and the area is very hot. Okay, the sand is very hot. The desert sand is very hot. Because the desert sand is very hot, the air on top of the sand will be hot. Okay, so you can see a region here called as hot air. This yellow, lemon yellow color is the desert sand, which is hot, because of which the air which is present on top of the sand becomes hot because of transmission of the heat. The heat is traveling from the sand to the air. This region of the air is hot, but the region which is on top of the hot air is cool air. Okay, so we have got the desert here, the sand, then we have got the hot air, and then we have got the cold air here. Normally, light waves from the sun travel straight through the atmosphere to your eye. Okay, normally the light is traveling straight through your to your eyes. Okay, normally sunlight is going to come straight to your eyes, but light travels at different speed through hot air and cold air. So when the light is coming from the hot air, the light is going to bend, it hits the sand, it is going to be reflected, okay, and reflected from hot air to cold air, and we appear and we see as if the water is present here, but the water is not there. Mirages happen when the ground is very hot and the air is cool. The hot ground warms a layer of air just above the ground. When the light moves from cold air into the layer of hot air, it is bent because of the difference in the densities of the hot and cold air. The density of hot air is different. The density of cold air is different. when the light is traveling from here to here, the appearance of the sky comes beneath. Okay, here the reflection of the sky is seen. Because the sky is blue, it appears as if some part of blue is present down, and if some part of blue is present down, we imagine that that is water. But when you come close enough to that blue thing, which is not actually the water, you will feel, okay, fine, I am fooled. It is the mirage that happened with me. Okay, so the same thing is present here as well. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, I didn't understand mirage.
Okay. Okay, see the simple thing here. The simple thing here is you have got hot air. Okay. In hot air, the speed of light is different. In cold air, the speed of light is different. Okay, because the hot air is different from cold air. The speed of light traveling in hot air and cold air is different. Okay. So normally, what is happening? The sunlight is traveling in a straight line. But when the light has to travel from hot air and then come back to cold air, there is bending of light happening. Okay, when the bending of light happens, the reflection of the sky is seen on the sand. The reflection of the sky is seen on the sand. Okay, and when the reflection of sky is seen on the sand, it appears as if there is water present down. It is just the reflection of the sky because of the light traveling in hot air and cold air.
Okay, ma'am.
See, I can just add in a little bit. Like ma'am has been explaining about refraction. Refraction happens when there are two transparent mediums. Refraction will happen only from a transparent medium to a transparent medium, right? Like ma'am said, from air to water, air to glass, air to ice, etc. Now this is happening air to air. Now, like ma'am said, that the refraction is happening because difference in densities. The density of the molecules in the gas molecules were less. When it comes to glass, it becomes solid. So the density of the molecules in the solid becomes more. So because of that, like ma'am said, if there is a swimming pool and there is nothing, so you're able to run well, you're able to dance very well. But when it becomes dense, when it is filled with water, you're not able to do it freely. The same thing happens with hot air and cold air. You all know this very well that hot air and cold air has different densities. The hot air is less dense than the cold air. So because of that, because of the difference in densities, the
Excuse
the
me, ma'am.
light, yes,
Ma'am, but in the desert one in Mirage, the hot air should be up and the cold air should be down because cool air is heavy and hot air is light.
yeah, you're correct. But the air above the sand is becoming hot because sand is retaining the heat. It is not the atmosphere that is retaining the heat in the desert. The sand is more hot. So because of that, the air that is just above the sand, it could be for 1 kilometer also. We don't know how much big that layer is. That layer could be probably like 1 centimeter also. It could be different. It is different for different areas in the desert. So wherever there is a desert area, the sand is able to retain the heat, and because of that, the air above the sand for certain length of a certain distance is going to be hot. So now we have created two different densities. One density is that is the air that is above is cool, and the density of the air that is below, that is near the land, is going to be hot. So because of that, now there are two different densities. Now as the light is coming to us, we are able to see, it means it is passing from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. So because of that, there is going to be refraction. And in that refraction, the light is going to bend. And like ma'am said, you can see it is actually the image of the sky that you see down. and you feel that there is water. So people feel that there is a mirage, there is an oasis very far above when they're walking. So it is actually not the oasis, or it is not the water that is there in the desert. It is actually they are seeing an image of the sky that is below, that is being refracted. So first, people used to think that this is a magic or something, but now we know the explanation behind the mirage, that it is because of the difference in densities of the air, and a uh, it is creating the light to bend. The main point is that the light is bending, and because of that we are able to see the mirage. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sana, I will present that coin screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
I will stop share.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now see this GIF again. What happens is that the light that is coming from the coin, so you have to place the coin, you have to place yourself such that you cannot see the coin. Okay, so now the light rays, we are just considering, see, there are many light rays as we discussed. We are right now considering only two light rays. Those two light rays are coming back from the coin, and it is reaching to your eyes. So see, these two lines are coming and they are reaching to your eyes, correct? And they are bending, and they are bending. Now our eyes don't see that bend. Our eyes actually sees it in a straight line, and so we are able to see the coin is slightly higher than the actual position. So we see it at an apparent depth instead of the real depth, and that is why the coin appears above. So first the coin is invisible. As you keep on pouring water till the brim, you will be able to see the coin. So that is what the trick is. It is actually nothing but refraction. Okay, so now we are told you all to get certain things. So for that, first experiment that you all are going to do is, you all are going to, for the shadow experiment, we are told you to take a torch and a ball. Okay, please go into a dark room with that. After this, okay, go into a dark room, place a ball there, and uh, switch on the torch and project it on the wall. Okay, now as ma'am said that the shape, the size of the shadow will change, so try to adjust the position of the ball at different positions. First place it very near to the wall, then place it slightly away from the ball, then place it very near to the source. So place it at three different images, three different positions, and then see how the image of the ball looks. And when you will see, you can try it once with a torch, you can try it once with a candle. So now see that with a torch you will get a very sharp image. You will be able to see only the umbra, that is the entirely dark region. If you do it with a candle, you may be able to see the umbra as well as the penumbra. So it is, sometimes when the images are not very clear, the shadow is not very clear, it is not a well defined shape, then you get an umbra region, that is the very dark region, and up and next to it you will see a slightly darker region, not very dark, that will be the penumbra region. So I want you to do two activities for the shadow. One is to try the different positions of the shadow, and the second activity is to observe the umbra and the penumbra region. Yes, like this, like the way it is shown in the slide. After that, the second activity you are going to do is take a tumbler, take a glass, uh, take a glass that is made up of glass material, and you're going to dip a pencil into it. See it from the sides. You will observe exactly like how it is being shown here in the photo, that the pencil will look bent. Now, if you remove the pencil, it is not bent, it is straight. Why? Because of refraction. The light that is coming back from the pencil, that is coming back into your eyes, is giving you it at an apparent depth. And because of that apparent depth, you are able to see the pencil as bent position. And the third activity you are going to do is that is going to be of the coin. So for the coin, you place the coin in an empty glass vessel, and place your position, means take your eyes near to the brim of the brim of the glass. See that you can see the coin. Now slightly move away so that you
Excuse
can't see
me,
the coin.
ma'am.
Yes.
What is a penumbra?
Okay, Penumbra, I'll explain it. First, let me just finish this invisible coin thing. So when you are seeing this, when you will not be able to see the coin in between, now start pouring water. As you will keep on start pouring water, you will be able to see slide coin, and finally you will be able to see the entire coin. So three activities for you. One is the shadow, the shadow positions, the umbra and the penumbra region, and then you will be seeing uh, the invisible coin and the bent pencil. Three activities for you all to do it for this week. Okay. For the umbra and the penumbra, Ruhi ki Vansara, did you join late for the class, Ruhi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll take back to the slide. So here, if you see, the torch is placed at the ball. Behind the ball, there's a total dark region. Where there's a total dark region, that will be the umbra region. But there'll be slight region after that where there will be slight darkness and slight light. That will be lightly gray. So behind the ball, the shadow that is there will be black, completely black. But above that, there will be umbra region. That is the umbra region. Surrounding that, the region that is slightly gray in color, that will be the penumbra region. That is what is called as penumbra.
Thank you, ma'am.
So is the activities clear for is the activities clear? Okay, does mirage
Yes, ma'am.
occur only in
Yes,
desert?
ma'am.
Mirage will not occur only in the desert, it can occur even when you're going on the road. Even supposing you're traveling on a very sunny road somewhere in your car, and you will be able to see that you see oily surface on the road. Have you ever seen that? If you're sitting next to the driver's seat, or if you've observed, you will see that the road looks slippery, it looks oily, but it is not oil, it is just the mirage of the air above it.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It happened with me once.
If you all have any more doubts, please shoot in right now. We've got another 5 minutes.
Ma'am, ma'am, what is the density of hot and cold air? Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is the density of cold and hot air?
Okay, so it is for cold air, it is 0.00130. Okay, this is very, very less. And in case of hot air, or warm temperature, it is 0.00065. Okay, so the difference is
What was
very
cold?
yes. In cold temperature, it is 0.00130.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So I am here. Okay. Where to begin myself?
Ma'am, when I looked into the glass with the pencil in it, the pencil looked magnified. Matlab, it looked a bit bigger than its usual size. Why?
It is again because of refraction, because the light is not present where it is supposed to be present. So because there's a bent in the light, the image will be seen as magnified. The pencil is seen magnified. Okay, so I
And ma'am, you gave that rainbow experiment. So ma'am, it will only happen with a mirror which is like in the water, or it can happen with a dry mirror which doesn't have any water.
which experiment are you talking about?
Ma'am, the rainbow experiment, in which we have to take a light source and then we have to take a mirror which is in the water and then put the light and put the mirror to an angle, and then in the walls a rainbow should be formed.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, how to
Yes.
do that hologram experiment?
Uh, okay, so
For the hologram, we have shared in the steps in the activity sheet. So you have to first take a graph paper, and the dimensions which are given on the activity sheet, you have to draw a trapezium. Trapezium is you all know what is a quadrilateral, right? Trapezium is a geometric shape which has two sides parallel to each other. Okay, so you have to draw out the shape which is given in the activity sheet with the dimensions, and with the same size you have to cut out four transparent plastic sheets, something like probably which you use when you spiral bind a book, transparent sheets which we use for spiral binding. So you take those sheets, you cut out those sheets in the given dimensions and shape, and do the assembly as given in the activity sheet. After you
Okay,
after you make the assembly on your phone, mobile phones, you have to search for hologram images or videos. So they will be small, there'll be small videos or clippings which you'll have to open and place your trapezium on top of your mobile phone and keep this entire assembly in a dark room. And then the reflection of the object which is there on the phone will be visible on all the sides of the trapezium, all four sides, which will make it appear like a 3D object.
okay, ma'am.
Um, Sana, is your presentation ready? Like,
yes, it is.
yeah, so you can start presenting your screen.
Okay, but then I'm not able to see the
Should I
present.
open it from here?
Okay, because I'm
Yeah,
not
so
finding
I'll
the
open it.
option.
You do the explanation.
Okay.
Yes, Anna, you can take over.
It is presenting. I'm not able to see your lab. Okay. So here, students, we left with two very small topics. Okay, it is going to hardly take us 3 to 4 minutes, which is called as refractive index. Okay, so here we have already seen that in refraction, it is very obvious now that we need two mediums. One is going to be the air, and the other one can be glass or it can be water. Okay. Now what we do here? What is refractive index? Consider a light ray traveling from medium 1 to medium 2. So this is our medium. This is the light ray which is traveling from medium 1. So what is medium 1 here? Our medium 1 is the air. Okay. And the medium 2 is our glass slab here. Okay. It's a piece of glass. So medium 1, the speed of light is going to be different. And in medium 2, the speed of light is going to be different. Okay. So let us just consider speed of light in medium 1. We are simply naming it as V1. Okay. So the speed with which the light is traveling into medium 1 is called as V1. And the speed of light in which in medium 2 is, let us just consider it to be V2. Okay. So V1 speed of light in medium 1, that is air, and V2 speed of light in medium 2, that is glass. Okay. So when I take, this is very clear, V1 speed of light in medium 1, which is air, and V2 speed of light in medium 2, which is glass. When we take a ratio, when we divide both of them, we get a ratio. Okay. So we take here speed of light in medium 1, okay, divided by speed of light in medium 2. The speed of light in medium 1 is what value? V1. So we take V1. Speed of light in medium 2 is what? V2. So we take V2. And when you take a ratio of it, that value is called as refractive index. Okay. As refractive index is medium 1, in this diagram, I think medium 1 we have taken as vacuum or air. So it can be vacuum, like completely nothing present, or it can be air. Okay. Then the refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1 is called as absolute refractive index. What is it? I will repeat again. When your medium 1 is compulsorily, when medium 1 is compulsorily vacuum or air. Okay. We can have two different mediums also. Like water is one medium, glass is another medium. But in this case, it will be not called as absolute refractive index. Why? Because when medium 1 compulsorily it has to be vacuum or air, then we call it to be absolute refractive index. Okay. Whenever light is traveling through air, we give a symbol to it which is called as C. So speed of light in air, we call it to be C. And speed of light in the medium. What is the medium here? What is the medium here? Okay, the medium here is what? It is the glass here. Okay. So we have considered the medium too. So speed of light in air is C and speed of light in medium is V. We take a ratio of it. Okay, so we're taking a ratio of it. And then this is speed of light. Okay, now consider here N water. That is refractive index of water. Above what you have taken? Above we have taken the speed of light. This is speed of light. Okay. And below we're taking speed of light in water. Okay. When you take a ratio, you get refractive index to be 1.33. Okay. So this is refractive index of water. Okay. Now we consider speed of light in air and speed of light in glass. Okay. This is speed of light, the same value. See, speed of light has got the same value, meter per second. So we take this value, that is speed of light in air, and we divide it by speed of light in glass. So when you take a ratio of both the speeds, you get 3/2, and refractive index of glass, we say the value comes out to be 1.50.
Ma'am, what is refractive index?
Refractive index is simply ratio. Okay, Janvi, it is simply ratio of two speeds. Okay, speed of light in sorry, speed of light in medium 1. Okay, we've got two speeds. Okay, for example, someone is driving. Okay, someone is driving, say on road. Okay, that means in air he is driving. On road means medium is air. So when the person is driving on road, he is suppose traveling by 80 kilometers per hour. Okay, you see on the meter which is there on the bike, it shows, say for example, 60 kilometer per hour. Okay, the same bike is now taken into swimming pool, and then there the bike is traveling. Okay, or flood has come to that place. When the person is driving in water, the speed is going to be different. Okay, so we take the speed of the person in water and speed of the person in air. Okay, so speed of light in medium 1, that is, let us the medium 1 to be air and medium 2 be water. The speed of light in medium 1 is going to be having a different value, and speed of light in medium 2 is going to have a different value. When you just take a ratio of it, when you divide both the values, you get refractive index value. It is simply ratio of speed of two in two different mediums. Janvi, did you understand? Okay, so you will have different values, and then there comes Snell's law. What is Snell's law saying? When the light is traveling into a lighter medium like air, the speed of light is going to be fast. Okay, the man who was driving on road, the speed was fast. Okay, the speed was fast, and then when the person entered into water, the denser medium, the speed was slow. So a slow medium and a fast medium. Okay, so when you take a ratio of it, that is n1 by n2, that is sine theta 2 upon sine theta 1. This you will understand in higher classes. Now you will not understand. So what is Snell's law saying? Snell's law is a law stating that the ratio of the sines of the angle. Sine you will understand, Janvi, in higher standards. Okay, now you will not understand. It is simply some angle taken. Angle of incidence and refraction of wave are constant when it passes through to given medium. So now see here, the light source is there. The light source is here. Okay, the light source is coming from here. Okay, so let us consider this to be the light source. Okay, this is the light source. The light is coming from here. It is traveling through the glass slab, through this D-shaped glass. When it is traveling from here, you can see the light is bending. Okay, the light is bending here. And when it is again going out, this is the lighter medium. Okay, so the speed is going to be different here. The speed of light is going to be different here. So what is Snell's law simply saying? It is remaining constant.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, why
Yes?
was the glass, the protractor shape of the glass was there? Why was the light was invisible in the glass in that place? Yeah.
It is, you are trying to ask why is the light not seen in glass? Is that the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, here it is a transparent medium. Okay, it is because of that. Glass is transparent, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think so. The side of it is made out of I think so an opaque glass, due to which it is reflecting and not coming on the front side.
No, but if it would be opaque, then why would the light then go there? It would be seen.
It's not opaque. It's not opaque. Glass is not opaque, people. Students, glass is not opaque. It is transparent. That is the reason now you're able to see.
the light beam is seen. It is very faintly seen. If you all can observe closely, the cursor is where the light beam is visible, inside the glass also.
Ma'am, the medium through which light is traveling is different. It's glass.
The medium is different. Yes, I agree. The medium is different. It is glass and air. The medium is definitely different. It is not the same.
Ma'am, the medium is denser. That's why the light is not visible.
No, the light is visible here. You can see that there's a thin, strand of light seen. It is because it is not that clear in the image.
No,
The
ma'am.
light,
As compared to air, it's denser.
hi, the medium is denser. Yes, agreed. The medium is denser. But the light ray is seen there, Amrush.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is called Snell's law. It is the name. Why is it called Snell's law? Because it was discovered by Snell. Okay, the name of the scientist in the year 1621.
Okay, students, any more doubts on today's session?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so whatever activities were asked you to perform today, one was the shadow activity, wherein you see, place the object at different positions from the source and see the size of shadow. And second was observing the umbra and the penumbra regions while making the shadow. So this was one activity, and the second activity which you were supposed to do was the broken pencil and the coin in water. Okay, so you all do these activities and you all can send the pictures on the group.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. All right, so I'll be sending you. Yeah, please tell me.
Ma'am, we even have to do the hologram.
I have shared with you the details for making the hologram. You all can try it at home if you have all the necessary supplies, or whenever you get all the supplies, you can try the activity at home and you can see it for yourself. And if it turns out to be really amazing, then share it on the group for your friends to view through it.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. All right, students, will close the class for today. I'll share. Yeah.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. So I'll share the topic for tomorrow's session. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. What we're gonna do tomorrow?
I will be putting it on the group. You all can go through the details there.
Okay, ma'am.
Hi, Janvi. Hi, Sanika.
Hi, Auntie. Anika. Sanika?
Yeah.
Your DP is so cute of that icon. You drew that?
Okay, you all talk to Ariha. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. What happened to your hair, Janvi?
What happened? Oh, trying to make a style.
Did you have your breakfast?
Yes, I had Maggi for breakfast.
Like,
And I will have idli sambar for breakfast.
Wow.
oh,
Kanika. We'll have it for dinner tonight.
Oh.
we'll have it for lunch.
I'm having tacos and mango ice cream for dinner.
What are you? Oh, nice. What are you having, Janvi?
No idea.
What are you eating?
Oh, hey.
Janvi, your face. It was like this.
Like how?
Like this. You are eating air, right? Then yesterday I had to.
What did I think yesterday was Friday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. सेवनटीन्थ मई के बाद शायद खुलने वाला है.
हाँ 17 मई तक हो गया लॉकडाउन अभी.
हाँ, उसके बाद तो खुलने वाला है.
हाँ. अगस्त में ही सारे यूनिवर्सिटीज खुलने वाले हैं, फिर उसके 1 या 2 महीने बाद स्कूल्स खुलने वाले हैं.
हाँ,
ऐसा लगता है.
एग्जाम